evening, everyone. My name is Bruce, and usually you see my hands, but right now I just got home. So, taking care of some late business here. Janet and I are here to show and discuss a movie by the name of Blast from the Past. And we're
Mhm.
gonna review that this evening. Janet, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I was busy, and that's good. I don't mind being busy. I'll just say that. It was a good day. It really was.
Well, good is better
For
than
being,
bad.
for being a Monday. Can't In the chat, our friend Soy Base Jeremy says hello. Six Nations are young
Well,
kings. Evening, ladies and gentlemen, multisexual mutants. Grab yourself a snack and beverage and hang out with a swell bunch of folks as we discuss a delightful rom-com fortified with good moral fiber. Janet was the first one in the chat tonight. Hey, Janet. So we have this movie here, and I really want to discuss what we've got because this is a film that normally I would not be involved with. I would not want to talk about. I would pass up on it. Maybe I'm developing as a person. Maybe I'm stretching out as a consumer. I don't know, but I really, in the last 10 years, I've started to like this movie. And I saw it when it
mhm.
came out back in the 90s. It's a cute little movie. You've never seen
Yeah,
it before.
no, I thought it was adorable. I wish I had a wig like hers, but I don't have anything like it, so I just pulled my own hair up because my hair is too long to be hers. But Helen, the mother,
Mm-hmm.
and I just thought Sissy Spacek was adorable in this movie. I thought she did a phenomenal job at
Yeah,
portraying a character of a woman who basically was trapped for 30 years underground with one person and trying to raise her son as normal as possible. You know, by being basically his parent and his playmate. You know what I mean? And doing all the nurturing and the cooking, and things like that. So I just thought that was great.
I like how he had set up the storage as a shopping location.
Hmm.
That was,
With a grocery cart.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, they even had a grocery cart, and she'd push him around just like he was at the store. So basically, the whole thing was less of a traumatic experience on the little boy than it was on the parents. So even after he went above ground, he wasn't. He was awkward, and everybody looked at him awkwardly when he spoke to them and stuff. But the
Oh, geez,
fact
golly.
the parents treated him so well on schooling and her doing things around the house and making all that type of thing, normalizing it. So when he was in in a business like the grocery store and things like that, by her acting it all out and things with him, prepared him a little better for what society would be like, especially because it was normal. Even though the dad had went up and thought it wasn't, that it was a mutantized, horrible place because he went up at night in the alley, basically, and he saw some of the worst things that you would see from someone who hadn't been up, been out in society and for so long, and only saw reruns of old TV shows and things like that because it was, I think it was actual movies he had or something like that. And
Project.
he had a movie projector. He didn't actually have a TV signal or anything. So that's why it was so different for him, for the dad too, and the mom. But the mom was like really, like, just fed up. It was hilarious. I thought that was really good. I thought they did a great job at portraying those characters for the parents.
I love this. The Fallout shelter was amazing. If wishes,
Hmm.
wishes. I love that Fallout shelter. Heck, I would love to have a place like that to go and just hide and watch old Honeymooners episodes and I Love Lucy and maybe some Jetsons. And don't forget Johnny Quest. But, you know, I wasn't around when that was first on TV. And that is gold.
Yeah, they did a great job when they built the set. Okay, because it could tell that it was the insides of a house, but didn't have the outsides. It just had the structures of the rooms with the decor on the walls and the rugs on the floor and the furniture and things like that. I think to try to keep it as normal as possible in their minds, that they were safe and sound at home, and then outside of it was like really, really high cement, and they had a walkway all the way around it with those two big doors with the huge, like a you would go into a giant vault in a bank, because that's what the doors look like to me. And then they had the tunnels that went upstairs. I thought that the way the detail they went into for the underground shelter was just awesome. And it just was really detailed on every aspect of it that I could think of, because I kept looking around trying to figure out what they missed out on. So they just did a great job, I thought. Even the fish tank, for them to do the hydroponics type thing with the fish. So they had fresh fish to eat, because they had a whole system set up to where the water was, being recirculated and stuff. And they had this thing on it to like buttons to push and stuff so that they could keep it, I guess, moving around, and to make sure that they took the right age fish out, to eat and things like that. So that it was all thought out and planned out really well. So basically, when the son kept saying, "My father's a genius, my father's a genius," he was right.
Yes.
Because everything he did inside that, even though it wasn't really a disaster, it did save their lives, though. Because if they hadn't went into the shelter, you remember the plane crashed right into their house.
F-86, one of my favorite planes of the 50s and 60s. Jets, I should say.
So basically, he saved his pregnant wife and son.
It did.
So, and then when he pushed all the buttons, when he got downstairs and you saw all the locks locking and stuff, I was mesmerized by that, because it was so sad, but also exciting. Not knowing what was going to happen next in the movie when that part came up. And the opening scene where you see all the people milling about like they're having a nice, like, after dinner, after hours get together, and they're smoking and drinking lots of alcohol, and the awesome outfits everyone was wearing, the hairstyles for the wives, and the suits and ties for the gentlemen, and how they would all cluster together, in their little like henpeck party over here, and then the all the macho guys hanging out talking about sports and politics and stuff. And then it was the news that came on TV is what stirred up the party and caused people to go home, because they thought something bad was about to happen.
Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yeah. It was really, really, really good. And then that happened to be circumstances that the jet was having engine problems up above, and it just happened to kaput right on top of their house. And they had just gone down into the tunnel, the pregnant wife and her husband, when the plane hit, and then it was a huge fireball that shot down into the tunnel. So it looked just like it could have been a nuclear explosion or something. So it was very traumatic for the mom and dad that went down in the ground. And they did a good job of portraying that that's what it was. I
thought the portrayal of the opening act just rolled really fast. I mean, it got you up to speed very quickly. And you learned exactly who, let me pull his name up here, who Adam was, and his dad Calvin and Helen, had a chance to raise like the first, and so they called him Adam
Yeah.
because under the circumstances.
They thought it was into the world. So they had the firstborn son basically in their thoughts. That's what they were thinking. But I felt sorry for her. I remember saying when she started having the pains and she was like holding her stomach, and she looked at her husband, and I felt sorry for her because I was like, oh my gosh, she's having to go through that, down there by herself with no doctor. And then I said, I made the crack. I said, well, she's never going to have sex with him again because she doesn't want to risk having to go through this all over again. I remember saying that.
That's why they had one.
Yeah, they only had one kid.
They only had one child.
So everything worked except they just didn't want to use it, or they were very careful about it. Because we didn't see any of that stuff afterward. So didn't have any of that aspect in it. And it was funny because I was thinking it was a comedy, an all-art comedy. And from the beginning and that whole thing happening, that was very surreal, for me. At least that's what I was thinking. Just a second. I got to get something. I forgot. I'll be right back. Just give me a second.
So I got to say that this movie just, from start to finish, the first time I watched it, I was not wanting to watch it. And then begrudgingly after the first act, I was in the seat. And by the end of the movie, I was sold on it. And so I've had that mindset for most of my 30s. And then just in the last 8 or 9 years, I just really have come to appreciate this movie. It offers a lot. It offers a lot of discussion. It does have a lot of small things where it does invite conversation for the ride home from the theater or after you pop it out of the VCR. This has a lot of opportunity to where I could see a family or a couple discussing things and they would just be in a conversation that was was instigated by this film. And it would be a healthy conversation. That's just how I view it. My wife isn't really a big Alicia Silverstone fan, but Brendan Fraser's on TV. She'll watch it. She's like most other women. Brandon Fraser? Hello?
I forgot my prop, which was this, because remember, the mom became a lush just so she could survive in that it's not bad, in that environment, and she was like a lucky woman that her husband prepared so well because they had so much food, alcohol. He smoked a pipe, I guess, and so they were able to collect all these items. I just thought it was great. But the babies, they used a lot of children. I pulled up a couple things about. Let's see if I can find it.
There's one of the little boys right there watching Daddy schmooze Mama.
Because they had, let's see, where is it? Darn it, I can't find it again. Every time here it is. They had Brandon Fraser as Adam when he was an adult, and they had this other little boy at age 3.5, had another little boy at 8, and another one at age 11. But they don't have any names down for the newborns because there was at least a set of twins is what they normally use when they're making movies like that. They want to have identical twins. So that because it gives them more time to be able to film, because you're only allowed to, I think it's not even 4 hours, something like that.
So Hayden Tank, the young man Hayden Tank was in this, and he played the 3.5-year-old, and he was in a few movies. He's not really known for a whole lot.
Oh, he was so cute. I was just dying watching how cute they were. And the scene where the mom and dad are dancing with him, teaching him how to dance.
Mm-hmm.
He was just, oh, this is so cute. I just wanted to just give him a big old hug.
A year later, after filming Blast from the Past, he was in The Perfect Storm.
Mm-hmm.
He did his last film role in 2006. That's Hayden Tank.
Oh, he was cute. They were all cute, all the boys.
Hold on, Janet. Let's save the. I think you're gonna like this. Here's the 11-year-old.
That's him now.
Him now.
All grown up. Oh.
He's been in a few films. The Alienist. Don't Worry About Dating. Don't Worry About Dating Again.
That's Chris Pine, wasn't it?
No.
Oh.
Oh wait, yeah, that is Chris Pine. Okay,
yeah.
He must be one of these dudes back here. Man, Chris Pine looks like shit in that photo. Sorry.
Well, he's got his face all scrunched up. Is that him in the blue shirt back there?
It is.
Okay.
I think that's him right there. I may be wrong. All right. Yep.
Oh, it was the other one, not the one in the background. It was the one in the front, right there in the black jacket.
Yeah, I apologize. I thought
right.
he was he's obviously got some leading star material because he was with Shailene Woodley in Big Little Lies.
Well, all I know is that all of them, the newborn didn't really have to do anything but just be cute. But the other ones, they definitely were adorable. The one reading the book out loud and the one sitting in the grocery cart while she was shopping, for their supplies. It was just so cute. And the fact that they made her look so young when she was pregnant and then holding her newborn,
mm-hmm.
And all that, I thought that was so cute.
And this is back in '99 when we didn't have a lot of real good CGI for
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could make a T-1000, but you start de-aging people with CGI, and people are like, "That looks kind of weird." I don't know. It's like Babylon 5 level of special effects. No offense to B5, which we just started watching yesterday. But
yeah, it was just very good. The detail they went through the costumes and set design was just amazing. To make it authentic, especially you didn't really realize it because I hadn't seen the movie until they once you started seeing that they were in after he'd went up and then came back down is when I started noticing more and more details for the actual sets and stuff that they were on the whole time. Mm-hmm. And what they did for the little backyard and the lawn furniture. And then later on towards the end of the movie, when they found out that those stocks that the young boy had, that the dad just let him have, like any parent would give their kids something that valuable, but he thought the whole world was, basically up above them was gone. And that probably wouldn't be anything left. So the stocks would be worthless. But they didn't realize how much they'd be worth today, in modern times or whatever, 30 years later. So I just thought they did an excellent job at following what the script, provided for them, because that's what the props manager the costume design people and everything get together with this script supervisor basically and pick out what they need for each of the scenes and then put it together. And then the prop masters and the set builders and stuff, build the set, and then the prop people come in and, decorate, put lights up or whatever it is they need for it to be more authentic for whatever era, that they're trying to portray. And the oven and everything. And you made a comment about you swore you saw an oven just like that one. Or
mm-hmm.
something in one of the houses that you had just recently worked in. But I was just blown away by it. I just thought what an amazing job they did to make sure it just had an authentic look. And they overdid it. I thought they just did an excellent job. I couldn't find anything wrong with the way they had it set up.
There's one flaw in the movie.
In what part?
Okay. Hey, LDG, how you doing? Jeremy, how you been? Yeah. Nathan.
In what part did you think you said you saw something that was wrong?
The script. So this
The
guy,
script?
the Christopher Walken plays Calvin. He's a super genius. He builds the vault. And in the vault, there's no ham radio. There's nothing.
Oh yeah, that part. I was talking about the
no
set design.
Okay. But that's the only fault that I have with the entire movie.
Well, yeah, I was thinking that about the whole ham radio and CB radio and stuff, and that if you really were going to prepare for that, you would want to have some type of radio to start saying, "Hey, is anybody out there? Can anybody hear me?" You know, that type of thing. And when I found out he didn't have any kind of way trying to contact the outside besides actually going up there, I thought that was kind of didn't make sense to me. But I'm talking about the sets, even the porn store above them years later, even had authentic porn, books and videos and stuff on the shelves because they even blurred them out. If you notice that in some of the scenes when they went in and out, they were all blurred out. So you couldn't see that what was really on there, but it sure looked like it was XXX, merchandise or whatever. So I thought that was really good, the way they did all that. And then the detail they went through to make sure that the club that they went to for him to find a wife.
Oh my God.
That was do you see how many people were in there? That's a lot of extras.
The catering for that part alone probably took about 2 weeks of shooting.
Yeah, it took a while. It took at least a week to do that. Just the scene where they're in there at the bar, at the dance floor, with the upper steps where you had to go up and sit so you could overlook the dance floor. That whole thing, because of the different angles they had to shoot.
Hey, Janet, I gotta knock at the door. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. But yeah, it was a really good scene because the details they went through to set up them walking in and then all the people mingling, the music playing in the background and them sitting down at the table. Okay. And then just talking to each other because you had views from all 3 different angles of basically almost all the way around them. And then, but when you went down to the dance floor and looking up, it looked authentic because all that background and everything around, the people sitting in the booths at the tables and stuff around, they looked, it all this looked like it was they were really in a bar with a dance floor and stuff in it. So a nightclub, a very nice, luxurious nightclub is what it looked like. And it might have been a real one, but when you film, people don't realize that there's cables and little rails for the camera to run along, booms, tons of different equipment is all around. And they did an excellent job at filming it from so many different angles without seeing anything, without cutting away from it. So the editing was really, really good. The music they played in the scene made it authentic. The outfits that people were wearing, the hairstyles. I mean, just the guys and the mingling with each other. It just the age ranges that were in there. I mean, they just did a really, really good job. I just was really, really impressed. And even when they were just walking down the streets, for it to be the only parts that I thought was kind of bizarre was the whole aspect of the building above their home. After their house got burnt down from the plane crash, it showed different things happening to it over time and different businesses going in. And it started out with a diner, and it had a young boy and his mom running this diner, and he was happy as a lark to finally get old enough, I guess, to work in it and help his mom. And then it showed a slow progression of how he got into drugs and drinking all the time and hanging out, and slowly, just becoming this useless. The mom finally getting fed up and wanting to get the heck out of there. And basically she just gave it to her kid and said, you can have it and do whatever you want with it. And she left. And then it was over time with that, I guess, with his drug problems or whatever. You have to just assume a lot of stuff because you don't really find out that much detail. But he has like a weird tattooed on his forehead, and he starts acting like bizarre, like one of those people that would I don't know, hang out with like what was the name of that group with Charles Manson, that group that was out in the middle of the desert or whatever. So it was like a really weird cult group or whatever that ended up staying in this rundown bar place above where they lived. And they had, built over it and everything. And when he was in there and he was saying something about one of his friends about, praying, and that maybe they were praying to the wrong gods or whatever. I don't know. I couldn't really understand a lot of it because it just didn't make any sense. But I don't think it was supposed to, because they were really messed up druggies. So when the floor opened up and the hatch opened, because they decided to come up, and it was the dad wearing his yellow, I guess, radiation suit or whatever. And what?
His NBC or hazmat suit.
Yeah, it's like a hazmat cross, almost like what they would wear when they. There was a couple other movies that came out called Contagion, and there was a few others like that. And they would wear these really weird suits that had the hose hooked to it, because it kind of looked like that, but it was more rubbery looking. It was like yellow rubber or whatever. It was really funny looking. So to see Christopher Walken come up out of the floor, and there's light from below, right? And the door flops open like that, and that guy sees him. And he's like some kind of drugged out wino or whatever. And he ends up, when he says he's the father or something like that, he passes out. And that's when his dad goes up and goes out. I think was it the back door he went out, or was it the front?
I think he went through the front door.
But it was at night.
Yeah, he went out at night though.
And there was a bunch of like drug addicts and alcoholics throwing up, and
little kids running around with like shotgun or showing a pistol off out of the
he was in the back of the car. It was a beat up old vehicle. Remember, it was like a drive-by shooting, and he had a gun. He shot at him, but he missed him. Thank goodness. But he got to see the really bad side of town at night, and he's been underground for 30-something years, 33 years or whatever. So he just thought it was horrible. And then when he walks down the street, he runs into the prostitute, transvestite. So, and I thought they looked really pretty good. I mean, honestly, their hair was nice. They were dressed nice. I mean, they looked nice and clean and everything compared to the other people in the street.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was just funny. And then when he went back in and he sat down there with his wife and son, and he was trying to explain what he saw there, that was hilarious. I was laughing my butt off. That whole scene when he was talking about they're mutants and they can change sex or whatever. It was just really funny. I just thought it was really funny. I laughed a lot. But and then the reaction of his wife, because she's trying to absorb the information, but not being able to really put two and two together, because she she hasn't seen anything. The only other living people she's seen for 30 something years was her husband and her young son, who's grown up. So she hasn't seen any other women, and she just wants to go up there so bad. She can hardly stand it. And she's, drinking these all day long. So I just thought it was great.
I thought the scene where she's mixing the food together, and then she grabs a cherry and
she's drinking all the wine and stuff that she's cooking with. I just thought it was adorable because basically that was her way of being able to deal.
I don't blame her for that.
Well, and it's not like she could go down to the pharmacy and just get a bunch of Valium. You know what I mean? So, and one thing though I did notice was I never saw her smoke in the house, like the proper mother. She didn't want you smoking in the house with the child. So I guess the dad would act like he would go out to the back and smoke his pipe or something.
I bet
because remember that was the one thing that he had to buy when he went shopping for his mom, is he had to get those giant cans of Prince Albert in the red can, that kind of stuff. So I just thought that it was really, really good. The whole aspect of it to make it believable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just thought it was funny. I just can't believe I hadn't seen it before. I was really surprised that I hadn't even heard of it. Especially with two big actors like that. I mean,
this movie had the iconic, in my opinion, the iconic pop culture 90s cast. Mm-hmm. This is 7 years after the greatest 1990s movie, which is True Romance, which had the best cast of all time.
Mm-hmm.
But you have, with this movie, you have Sissy Spacek, Chris Walken, Brendan Fraser, and Alicia Silverstone.
Mm-hmm.
Fraser and Silverstone were basically pop culture birthed in the 90s. In fact, I think she got popular before he did because she did The Crush. And I remember seeing that in the film in the theaters. And I'm like, God, that girl scares the shit out of me. And my girlfriend at the time was like, I could see myself being her. And I'm like, that lasted as long as it took for me to go to the Navy. And after that, see it.
Yeah, she was adorable. I mean, she did a very good character. But the roommate, he was phenomenal. I just loved his character, portraying her gay roommate.
Yeah.
And because I know he wasn't really gay because he had a family, a full family.
Wasn't it Ryan that was his name?
I think so. Let me hold on. I got this right here. It's open. Whoops, the wrong one. This one. His name was Dave Foley.
There we go. Troy.
Yeah, he played Troy. And he was in real life was married and had children and everything. So but he did a great job being a gay guy.
I love his portrayal of a gay guy, and then his real life IMDb, like literally you ever see two guys hug, and whenever they hug each other, they give these 3 large pats in each other's back, like, I'm not gay. And that's what we do. Like, that's what we used to do, at least. But this guy's got his wife and kids here, and like, look, I went out, I seeded, I did what I'm supposed to, stop it. And he did the right thing, it looks like.
Well, the thing is that he did a really good job because he did a believable character. Like when he walked in, when Brendan Fraser was in the foyer area, when they first went to the house, and he was looking at the ceilings and stuff. Because you remember, he didn't have ceilings really, because he was in like a missile silo type where he grew up. Okay. And it had a house and everything, but it was just not what he was used to. So the little things that we take for granted every day, he didn't get to see, and he didn't get to interact with. He never had a pet. There was so many things he missed out on that we just would look at it and go, it's boring old news to us because we see it all the time. And when you see something every single day, you tend to become what's that word? Damn it.
Sensitized to it.
Complacent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, it's no big deal. But to him, every little detail, and he did such a good job portraying someone who was in awe of everything he saw. He just was like, what, what, just looking at everything, and he was just shocked by it because he hadn't had a life like that for 30 years of his life.
No.
He never saw any of these things. Seeing TV in color when he was telling her, I watched this show on TV and it was in color, like wow, how lucky he was, because he's not realizing everyone around him had color TV for many, many years. That they never had a life without it, basically. So I just thought he did an excellent job. I thought he was way better at it than I was expecting, and I was impressed with her because here she was driving a U-Haul van around. Helping him collect all the things that he said he needed to take back because they needed it. And then because most people guys I know can't even drive a U-Haul, truck. So I don't know. I just thought she did a really good job at portraying a character that you think, well, she can really do a lot of things, on her own. And then her best friend picking up on subtle things that she would say and do, and then trying to, fix it for her because he knew that she was falling for this guy, even though it had only been a few weeks, right? Mm-hmm. So just little things that he was doing, I thought he did a really good job at it. And he never had to do anything, like kissing and hugging or anything for you to feel like he was a gay man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was very subtle. I liked the way they did all of it because they made it to where you could watch it with a younger person and not have to explain a bunch of, things that there was no need to add to the movie, which they seem to overly do so bad today in today's movies. You don't have to know that they're a husband and wife without having to show that they're in bed screwing all the time, things like that. So I just thought it was great. I thought they did a really good job at showing that she was pregnant. And we all know how you get pregnant. So you don't have to show us them, making babies. All you had to see was her after she had the baby, that type of thing. And the way they talk to each other, I don't even think I remember them really being real affectionate to each other besides sitting together and that type of thing, and their little dance that they did and a few other things, but I don't remember them doing a lot of hugging and kissing and stuff. Do you?
Not really, but there's some things this movie really just knocks out of the park on.
Yeah, this scene was really good. Yeah, it was a really good scene. A Negro, because he had never seen a black person in person before.
I love this. And YouTube, this is fair use.
Oh, my lucky stars. A Negro.
Say what?
How do you do, ma'am?
I do all right.
And his jacket. Did you notice that jacket he's wearing that his mother had made for him? It's made out of their bedspread that was in their bedroom. It was just, but you see how well it was so flawless.
Yeah.
The way he reacted to her and stuff, and he kept his he didn't crack up laughing. He just did a very good job at the flow that he had at portraying someone who was totally oblivious to all the things that we take for granted. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I just loved it. I thought he was excellent. And then Alicia Silverstone's looks on her face and her reactions to things that he said, it seemed flawless to me too. But the way she absorbed what he said and then was able to act astonished by him, she did great at that. I thought she was phenomenal at her acting to react to everything he did in a way that would be like, what? Realistic, very realistic.
I know too many young ladies that wanted to be Alicia Silverstone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought she was what?
Yeah. She played the jealous woman perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm
She
going to
did.
say. Like,
She did a great job. She did
yeah,
a good job.
very as much as this is a rom-com, her role in this movie was fucking spot on, and I love it whenever Troy says, or when what's his name? Damn it, he's like, well, Troy called you a bitch too, and she's like, what? And he's like, come on, let's go. Troy's like, come on, let's leave.
Yep. But I like the way that they talk to each other because they acted like best friends.
They did.
So like when she says you need to go to the bathroom right now,
Yes.
because she wanted him to leave.
Yeah,
But
I gotta speak to this guy. ASAP.
I just thought he did a really good job, and his mannerisms. He was like, I remembered him the whole time I'm watching it. I was remembering him as Pat's girlfriend. Remember the movie Pat, whatever?
Yes.
And he did a great job in that because we could tell he was a man pretending to be a woman in the movie Pat. Okay. And I think it was supposed to be that way. And that's what made it funny, is because you didn't know which one was the guy and which one was really the girl. You know what I mean?
All
That
right.
was the whole idea. You had to have a character to play off Pat to make you not know whether Pat a guy or a girl. And nobody knew. The only time anyone found out was when his Pat's pants came off that time. And we didn't get to see that, right, in the movie. But the actor that played the lover of Pat, it was the same person that played the gay man in this movie, and he did a phenomenal job at portraying a gay man, even though he wasn't really gay. So that shows you how good his acting is. It looked natural. You know what I mean? He didn't seem flamboyant, but he didn't seem too manly. I don't know. I don't know how to put my finger on it. I have a lot of gay friends, and I wouldn't have known he wasn't gay.
I kind of had my gaydar go off the first time I saw him because I'm watching this movie and my girlfriend at the time's best friend is this girl, Maria. Maria's a lovely person. Her half brother is just like Ryan. If you look at him and you don't say, my gaydar's going off, are you fucking gay? If you didn't say that, like, he would like put on his act like, hey, we're gonna go watch the Rams go slaughter the Cardinals. Do you want to come with us? And he'd say some shit like that. And you're like, oh, obviously this man is a hetero, and we're gonna go and do some hetero things. You would think that, but like when things would come to truth, here's Michael, and Mike would just come out and he's like, listen, I'm gay as fuck. And I like being gay as fuck. And he would just go on this entire spiel. And then he would tell you how much he enjoyed sucking cock. And it's like, and you would like the idea that you had of this dude being like mostly hetero. I don't really care. I don't care what you fuck. But he would explain, like, listen, I don't come out as this. I don't tell everybody this. But if you're going to know me, don't bring me a female friend to meet, because I'll just like bring a gay friend for you to meet. Okay, appreciate that. But
it sounds like
he reminded me a lot.
Sounds like he had been through a lot to where he felt like, I'm just going to get it over with now, so I don't have to go through with it later and be embarrassed or whatever.
And most of us that were around Maria knew her half brother was gay as hell. Nice guy. Really, really a nice guy. And I think later on, he just switched over to the team that carries the phone book under his arm. He turned bi. Like, eventually, like, a good woman broke him, and he wasn't strictly dickly anymore. He would fuck anything. It kind of cracks my noggin to think that, but okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. No, Troy came off as like mostly like, yeah, he might be gay. He had a really good sense of fashion. I remember that. And this movie reminds me of how men should look because I do appreciate when there's the party at the start of the film, everybody's at Calvin's house, and all the guys are in those classic cut suits with the great shirts and good ties.
Mm-hmm.
Their ties probably suck in reality, but they look good to me because that's the kind of ties I saw growing up with my grandparents, my mom and dad, and just
Mm-hmm.
when you don't have a whole lot of money, like you keep a tie for like over 4 years.
Yeah, the thing is that it looked authentic.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. I kept looking for stuff that didn't seem like it fit, but everything looked great. I mean, it was so well done, and the way they filmed it, it made the living room looked full of people. It was a really good gathering of people. I mean, it looked like there was maybe 20 people in there at the beginning. And the thing is, as soon as, oh yeah, those suits were really nice, but you could still do it. That's what there's a bunch of nice little clubs there used to be, where you could go and people would be dressed in those style of clothes, in the 1950s, 60s outfits. And then you had the zoot suits that came out. The movie Mask made that whole thing a huge explosion of people wanting to dress that way again and stuff. So honestly, that's what I liked about NOLA so much, is that you could walk down the street and so many people were anything, bell bottoms, poodle skirts, whatever it was that you wanted to wear, you could wear it and nobody cared. Everybody accepted you no matter what you wore or what hairstyle you had. Or anything. That's the one thing I absolutely loved about New Orleans, is that everybody fit. It didn't matter, you could wear a tutu. I did that many times because I did a lot of face painting and stuff like that for the parades, and I'd wear a tutu, the colors of whatever parade it was, and stuff like that. And, nobody cared, and you fit right in. And if you stood out with a really nice looking smooth suit, girls notice it, I think. As I always think nice dressed men are very attractive. It doesn't matter whether the suit looks like it's from 1960s or the 1980s. Even the ones with the ruffly shirts they used to have. I think that was in the 90s, wasn't it?
It was 80s,
early 90s. Yeah. Even some of those, and they used to have the edges of it were one color and then it was white underneath, things like that. And then cummerbunds. I haven't seen a cummerbund in forever. And I don't even know if guys even wear those anymore, but with the tux.
I know it's for over 10 years.
Yeah, because they used to wear them in weddings. Lots of people would have them in weddings.
I wore one to prom.
Well, I just remember weddings, lots of weddings. And
I was one of the kids that wore a tailed. You know how the guys would have the suits and like they go with tail or no tail. Me and Chad were the only two. There's a kid that I went to school with named Chad. Amazing, right? But
you talking about for your zoot suit?
For prom, yeah, I had tails on my tux, and I was one of two people that had tails. Nobody else. Like, why? Tails look awesome.
Well, it was to me. I think it was more of whatever it was that your personal choice would be.
Well, I had a mullet at the time.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people had mullets. Some people still do have mullets. I still see mullets every so often, especially now where I'm at now. I see a lot more.
Where you're at now. No offense, Janet.
Yeah, there's a lot of mullets.
I love you dearly, but I see a lot of trailer parks and a lot of rural living and satellite dishes around where you're at.
Yes, there is. It's amazing. It's amazing. Now the satellite dishes have gotten littler. Yes. Because I remember the one my parents had, it was like a giant spaceship size. Now they're little, like, this big.
Yeah. And when I was a kid, we had one, and it was probably 9 to 10 feet. The thing that makes me happy is when I see a ham radio antenna. That's like my people. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is that I was very impressed from the very beginning when I started watching it, because I had to watch it and go back and watch the beginning again, was the details. I mean, it was just phenomenal to me. The director worked really hard to make sure it had an authentic look to it. And he didn't have to, because it was really a comedy. I mean, you know what I mean? It just seems like most movies you go to see that are rated or, put out as a comedy, they don't put so much detail into the details. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes any sense, but there's just lots of gaps, and they don't care.
No.
Like, what was that movie that you and I watched? And I said my favorite scene was the one where he had the sex woman. It was something men.
Real Men.
Real Men. There was lots of mistakes with the details on the sets and stuff in that movie.
I rated a 5, didn't I? Because if not,
I think it was like a 6 or something. But the thing is that it was a comedy, and most directors that make comedies don't really care so much about the details of the surroundings. It's what the lines are, and if they're hitting the punchline, when he wants them to, that type of thing. And they do the pitfalls, and they put more emphasis in other things. This director actually, I mean, it just seemed like he walked everywhere. He looked at everything. He looked at it from different angles. I just thought it was phenomenal. And his choice in the people that did the makeup and the hair and the picking for the clothing. I never saw one hair out of place on either one of the actors.
Fraser or anybody.
Yeah, they just always looked top notch every minute, of the movie, which was good. And especially the scenes with the dancing. I didn't know he could dance that well.
No.
But they wanted to make the emphasis of showing you him as a small boy with his parents, and how many hours that he spent with them. Okay. That to me is what popped into my head. The hours that him and his parents spent dancing together, and them teaching, all the personal time that they had together. And that's what they were showing when he was out in the public and getting to do all these things. Him being able to speak French, right? And having a whole conversation with a total stranger that could speak French. That right away made her jealous, right? She got jealous because she couldn't speak French. So, and the fact of how attractive he was, simply because he had all these talents, unseen talents, and it was untapped by all these girls. These girls, no one had seen him before. He was unknown, but he had so much underneath that they all wanted to find out, well, this is the top, this is the surface, what's under there? They were all intrigued with him. So I just thought they did such a great job at doing that, at making you want to find out more and more. And that's what she wanted. She kept asking him all those questions and stuff. And then she thought maybe she was psychic, because he said, yeah, that was true, because he didn't want to tell her the truth. I live underground.
Yeah.
I've lived there all these years. And then when he finally did tell her the truth, she called someone to come and pick him up. So,
well,
but he handled it well.
The director of this movie is a man by the name of Hugh Wilson. And if any of you have followed me for any length of time, we might have talked about one of my favorite shows growing up when I was a young boy, called WKRP in Cincinnati. And this is a
really
silly little show that it was on for about 5 years. They did a spin-off of it, but it was a very good Midwest show. It showcased Midwest mentality, mindsets, and for what it was, it actually gave a pretty favorable look to Cincinnati, which a lot of people it's not Detroit, at least, but nor is it Cleveland, but it's really a good show to showcase a time capsule. I need to show you 5 years of when I was growing up, and this is what we watched on Wednesday nights or Thursday nights. And it was just a very good show for that. Hugh Wilson was creator of it. Mm-hmm. And he got a lot of things right. He worked in radio. He was a fan of the Beatles. He wanted to have more Beatles on this show. It was impossible. When he was directing this movie, he's like, I want to have Beatles, but I can't do it. Because the Cuban Missile Crisis, I think, predated the Beatles. Mm-hmm. And so that's why, created by Hugh Wilson. So this is a just a piece of, like, when I was growing up, that made, Johnny Fever was the guy. I wanted to be Johnny Fever, and I went to the Navy with intentions of being a journalist. A JO was the rate. I was going to be in radio, and what I ended up doing was painting a ship and swapping decks.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the second year I was on the ship's newscast about 7 or 8 times and did various newscast stuff. The first episode versus the 8th episode, which was the last time the captain allowed us to do that, because I started impersonating my first officer, and everybody's like, "Holy shit, he's good." And they're like, "No, we're done with the newscast." Okay, fine. So we had a lot of fun with that, but Johnny Fever was my little hero when I was like 3-year-old Bruce.
Yeah.
And I just got to say, Hugh Wilson was a good director. He wrote for Police Academy. He did WKRP in Cincinnati,
Mm-hmm.
Easy Street, Frank's Place, the famous Teddy Z. He did screenplay for not a great movie called Stroker Ace. We'll have to watch that one of these days because that's not great. Sorry. We got to watch some shitty shows. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
Okay, then he did.
I like him. This is a good director.
Yeah, he is.
He's a very good eye for detail. And he picked 4 phenomenal actors. Well, 5.
Mhm.
All 5 of the main actors, basically. They played well off each other. They were believable. It was almost like they could read each other's thoughts or something because they played off each other so well.
That was the one thing. Like, did you think they probably had like 2 weeks to do reads and to just kind of hang out and get to know each other? And I need you to act like you've been together. Do you think they did that?
I don't know. I don't know what they did or what was so special about it, or how they were able to achieve it, except that they were all really good actors. They were really good actors, and they had very good direction by the director. The director said, he probably went to them and said, "This is what I want to see, and this is what I want to see from you," and they did it, and that you just don't see that very often.
No.
Where it all clicks together like they were made for that part. And that's what I saw watching this. Cause, after, today I thought about it all day, who would I picked to play the Brandon Fraser's part? I can't think of another actor that was around at that time that I felt would have done such a good job as he did.
No.
And Christopher Walken, I can't think of anyone else who could have played his part. Honestly, I really couldn't.
The casting on this movie was impeccable.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I would say probably for me the recognizable top 6 of this movie would be the 4 that you mentioned, plus Troy, plus the Nathan Fillion character, which he got a few scenes in.
The nut guy in the bar.
No, the guy that was her ex.
Oh yeah, he was from Firefly.
Mm-hmm. Firefly and Slither.
Yeah. As soon as I saw him, I was like, "Holy crap, I know him!" And he's a good actor too.
This was before Saving Private Ryan, I believe.
Yeah,
I want to say that. Hold on, let me find.
It came out in 1999, so I don't know when Saving Private Ryan came out after that.
98 or 99. I'm having a hard time.
Or right around the same time.
Yeah, but I want to say this was before it because I don't remember anybody talking about this movie and Nathan Fillion.
But the whole thing about when he's having the conversation with her in the vehicle and he's listening to Perry Como and he's all like jamming to it, instead of it being something, today modern, he's listening to that and acting like it was all awesome,
Yeah.
And the way she reacted to him, the way she reacted to him was it just seemed very authentic,
Yeah.
to me, watching it for the first time. And that takes work. I mean, because you've got to be able to make the right facial expressions with the words as it's happening to make it believable.
Yes.
And it was almost like she really could make it look like she'd never heard him say that before, which is, not everybody can do that.
No.
So I thought they were great. I thought they played well off each other because she almost got that giggly little, I don't know what you do it. Like you're just like, oh my God, I got me a gold mine. I hit the jackpot, behind the scenes in her character. And it was like, is he for real? Or is this guy the biggest player on the planet? This is what she's thinking. At least I think that's what her character was thinking as a woman. Because what woman doesn't want a man that's already been turned into, the Neanderthal, you know what I mean? Knuckle dragging guy that just wants whatever's good for himself. Give me some food or whatever, that kind of, that mentality. But this guy was a gentleman, and he was in awe of everything. So you're the first to get to do all the things for him. That's like, wow, that's great. That's like, you can't beat that. To be the first one to cook for him, the first girl he kisses, the first girl to, make whoopee with or whatever, which he asked him that question. And he said no. I mean, she just realized, wow, this is it. Except as soon as he said, my dad told me to find me a woman that wasn't a mutant.
Yes.
A healthy young woman. Okay. And then he says, and to bring her down into the silo. What was it called again?
The fallout shelter.
Shelter. Yeah, the fallout shelter with me. And that's when she went, oh my God, I knew it was too good to be true. Okay. He's a nut. He's crazy. So I just thought that was just adorable, that whole scene.
My bad. Saving Private Ryan was 1998. This movie is 1999. They came out real close to each other, but nobody I knew ever talked about this movie because this movie went under the radar for like 10 or 12 years. And then finally in like 2010 or 2011, a friend of mine's like, hey, we're going to be watching Blast from the Past. I'm like, Alicia Silverstone in it. They're like, yeah. I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it was really, really well done. I mean, I still am just in awe of it because I thought it was great. Oh yeah, that's right, from Pasadena, and she laughed about it because she was like, "What?" He's very detailed on what he wants, but he doesn't know what he wants. You know what I mean? So it was funny because it was like a shopping list because that's what his mom had done for him. She had wrote him a shopping list of things that he needed, and he wanted to please his mom by getting the proper girl to bring back. And when he finally got to be in a smorgasbord of women, he didn't know what he wanted because they were all beautiful to him.
They all fit the bill.
They all, because he was raring to go, and his little stud muffin was in overdrive. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it was really cute.
Here's the funny thing is that he could pull. He could start talking, and like the women would just like, and they would get interest, especially the French girl. But
because
Sophie, and then he had the dance moves to pull the other two girls that are professional dancers, and those two, I think that's the one that made Eve snap. That's the moment.
You got to remember,
no.
Eve was the first one to really have any conversations with him when she took him to the Holiday Inn, right?
Yeah,
so she already knew how these girls were all going to react to him when he had a conversation with them, right? So that's why she was thinking, well, I can't get him to have a conversation with that girl because she's going to dig in her claws right away, knowing she's got herself a newbie. Basically. So the best thing for me to do, the safest thing for me to do is to set him up with somebody that's fresh like him, someone that's not been, been on her back like 55 times before she gets to meet him. You know what I mean? If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So basically, that's what she was thinking she wanted to do, but she didn't realize by that time she was already head over heels in love with him because she just thought he was adorable.
Do you think it was that fast?
Yes, I do. I believe in that. I believe in love at first sight. I really do. I really do believe in that still. And I think it does happen. If it's at the right time and you meet the right person and you're in the right frame of mind, both of you, I think it can work out. And I have still meet people every so often that have been married, 25 years, and they met like that, on a blind date or whatever it was. Now, I'm not saying they got married right away. I'm saying that as soon as they met, they just felt like, oh, this is like magical. And I do believe it can happen. I still believe it can happen. It doesn't happen to everyone because it's rare. It's very rare, but it does happen. And I that's what I thought was so cute about this whole thing was that you had a parents, and she said everyone's divorced. When she was talking, and this is a young man that's
He's
his
like
whole life. He's seen his mom and dad very affectionate with each other, dancing together, talking and not fighting. Just having cordial relationship. Cooking, cleaning together, making clothes. Just doing everything to provide for each other. And that's all he's used to. So he was a perfect man for all these women. All these women wanted was to one day had that fairy tale relationship. And what do they see? A well-dressed, dapper, attractive man that's well-educated. Now, they don't know not one of those women asked, do you have any money? Okay. And see, even her character, Eve's character, knew he had nothing basically because she knew nothing about him. But here was this guy, he doesn't know how to do anything. He doesn't know how to shop. He doesn't know anything about colored TV. He's helpless. He's like a man child, basically. And I just thought it was adorable, the whole thing. Now, I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have done similar to what she did by thinking that this poor guy, he needs some help. He's messed up. That's what I would have thought. But, oh, is that the person who played the prostitute?
Yeah.
Is it a woman? Is it a woman or not?
It's a woman.
Okay, that's good.
Well, they made her look like Man Coulter.
Yeah, but still, that was the character that she was playing.
Yeah.
And I thought she was hilarious. The whole thing by being so serious about everything. Like she must do it every single day, 50 times a day. And she got someone who'd never heard her story before, and didn't know what to think about it. Because he was wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. Like he was just surprised about everything too. But he was a little different than the son because he had seen society before.
Yeah.
He knew what prostitutes were. He knew what drug addicts were and alcoholics and all that. But this is a young kid who's not seen anything, nothing.
Stars, a Negro.
And he's not really seen a real Negro because even watching a black person on TV is still not the same as actually seeing one in person.
Hanging out with people.
And he did a great job at having that look on his face. And you see how the camera was facing her, and then you saw the next scene and it was facing him. Yep. That's two different scenes. You have to film the same scene twice with the camera out of view.
Yep. So
you might do it 3 times, the exact same thing. And that's why it's so important for continuity, because if your collar's like this in one scene and then the next scene it's straight, when you put it together, it's messed up, that you see mistakes. So that's why it's so important. You hold the cup the same way. Your hair is exactly the same. Your purse is on the right shoulder, all those things, all those little details all come together. If you don't, the editor doesn't see the mistake when they put it together. And I was looking for stuff like that. I was looking for continuity, and I was looking for different things that I couldn't find anything wrong. That's why I think the director was phenomenal about everything. And even the editor did a good job. The music was good. I don't know. I just thought it was. I'm overwhelmed with what a wonderful job they all did. It was so good, so well made, and it's sad that so many few people saw it.
Well, we're doing our part. That's all I can say. I mean, I don't think I'm being very critical whenever I say the worst part about the movie is that there's one plot hole and there's no ham radio or no way for them to communicate with the outside world or get, instructions from DC or from Langley or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This movie, that's the only thing I really have to have a problem with it. It's not meant to be Shakespeare. It's meant to be a good film that it makes you happy at the end. It does this wonderful job. It takes your ups and downs, and there's a few hiccups, but by the end of the film, you're there smiling, and you're like, why can't my life be that fucking simple?
And that was one of the things that I loved about how they interacted with the characters and how they introduced the new character. By him taking those baseball cards into the shop, and that guy looked familiar.
That's
Was he
Jerry.
like some famous guy?
Not famous, but he's been in a lot, and he's got a little place down in NOLA where he does yoga.
He just looked really familiar to me. I don't know
Don
if I
Yeso.
know him or not.
Don Yeso.
The thing is, when he went in there, and he was showing him these cards, and the guy was like, "What? I hit the jackpot. This guy's a dumbass, and I'm gonna take everything he's got and give him a few measly $100 or 500 or whatever it was he said he would give him." And she just happened to be there working for this guy and knew that he was about to rip this guy off, and he couldn't let him do that. So, and she knew her business. Okay. She knew what she was doing. So that whole thing was a really, really good idea, the way that they introduced her character to his.
Well, Don Yeso met up with this guy for Frank's Place, or met up with Hugh Wilson, the director of the movie. He also directed a TV show called Frank's Place. It was a little series back in the 80s and had Tim Reed, Robert Harper, and Daphne Reed.
I never saw that.
I remember the name of it. I just never watched it because it looked like a show that I probably wouldn't get much out of. No offense, but I mean, I live in a small town full of white people and mostly Polacks. Okay, this movie, this show, it's not bad, but it didn't have the same pull as like Sanford and Son. Sanford and Son was like the ideal black show to watch, I thought. It was in syndication. It was on 4 times a day. If you watch Channel 43, it's on at 7:30 in the morning. If you watch Channel 55, it's on at 5 p.m. and 11 p.m. And if you watch Channel 25, they have it in syndication on at 11:30 at night, which was really weird because that was an NBC affiliate. Mm-hmm. But that was just, I mean, Frank's Place was on during the middle of the show, or during the middle of the week, and I forget what it was opposite, but it was never a show that was preferable to the other shows around it. But here we have Shorty, and he was in 22 episodes. His name was Don Yeso. Don Yeso was the guy that plays Jerry in the movie we watched, Blast from Past. And he's got a little shop down in NOLA where he does exercise and helps you maintain your fitness. Kind of a little stud there. He's not a spring chicken either.
Mm-mm. Yeah, but he did a good job too, being believable.
He's very
as a cutthroat guy that wants to sell, baseball cards and stuff. Because remember the O.J. Simpson case that they were able to get him on with the guns. Remember that?
Yes.
They finally got him. That was over that kind of stuff, memorabilia, in a hotel room. Because he found out supposedly they were selling stuff that was his, that had his name on it, but he wasn't getting a cut.
Correct.
Okay, that basically, so he went with some of his thugs to demand money or whatever from these people. So that's how he got caught. It's a cutthroat business, baseball cards and other memorabilia, autograph photographs, things like that. Stuff that you and I are interested in. Well, at least I am. I'm interested in, I'm not really in baseball cards, but into memorabilia, stuff that I've got tons of stuff that's autographed, comic books, all that kind of stuff, and figurines. So to me, I thought that whole scene was very believable. And what would happen to someone who's naive and didn't understand? He didn't even know what baseball was because he'd never seen baseball. And his dad was trying to explain to him what a pitcher was. He's like, Mom's got pitchers, but he didn't understand what a pitcher throwing a baseball to a person to hit it with a bat, the concept of that. And reading it and seeing it.
About it.
But reading something, a book, and then not ever seeing it. It's just like about reading about fishing. Okay. You read it, it's kind of like boring because you don't really, you would never understand what it is unless you got to go fishing with a real rod and reel and throw it in the water and actually have the fish fighting you as you're trying to draw them in. Right. So him being able to portray this character that never saw baseball, and then he finally gets to go to a baseball game and he's so excited. I understand, it sinks in. The boy charm is what the girls are so attracted to that get to meet him, especially Alicia Silverstone's character, Eve, is like overwhelmed with her little heart's going pitter patter because it's like, wow, he's just awesomeness, I just thought it was cute. It was so cute.
I mean, every guy wants to meet a woman that he finds irresistible and attractive. And then better yet, she says to me like, well, if you're thinking about like having a fling with me, don't, because it never works. And the guy is like, oh, fuck, this would be great. We should fuck, because if it doesn't work, we're done with each other. And if we do work out, we're together. And I mean, that's typically how most guys think. I mean, hi.
Her ex thought that way.
Yeah, he did. He had no problem with it. Like, hey, I'm going to go hit on you while you've got your little stud puffing over here. We're going to go have drinks at the bar, and then I'm going to take you on home and fuck your brains out. And that was our plan. I mean, it worked out for.
And she really liked him, and she probably would have ended up being in a relationship with him off and on for who knows how long. Right.
Yep.
But because she met this guy, and I think his character seemed a little like, wow, he's still around. He was surprised at the effort this young man was making to be with her.
I thought you said he was a butt with hair. that was my favorite line that he said in the entire movie, because he's just like, you like this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I thought they did good too. And he was a good actor at playing the ex, basically. And he was attractive. So it wasn't like she went for dogs, ugly guys. She just like she said, I go for muscles, and a nice butt and all that stuff. So is what she was saying. And she did.
She was a high value person. Not that she isn't now, but like there's a difference in like between a woman that's childbearing age and a woman that's like, okay, I'm 45 or older and I'm ready for menopause. So like, you little boys, don't touch me because I know you want kids.
But see, the thing is, she was honest with them.
Yes.
She didn't have to be. Okay, see, that showed her character. So, hi, Kathy. But that showed her character. So basically, and something about her character was drawing him in because she was teaching him things. She was smart. She was beautiful, and she was capable of doing so many things like his mom. That's in a way, I think that's how he was looking at her, because she was so, she was smart and she was beautiful. She was all the things that his mom said that he needed to have. So it didn't take him long to know what he wanted.
I agree with that.
Because you remember, he had the chance. He had the chance to be with that other woman.
Yeah, Sophie took him home.
But he didn't look at her as, he wasn't a player. He wasn't looking for something to hook up with. He was looking for a wife.
Yeah, he's in
something to keep forever. So he didn't go with the other girl because he knew what he wanted, and it wasn't that other woman. It was Eve, and that's what he wanted.
So if you're in the chat right now and you've seen this movie, if you've seen Blast from the Past, I want you to put your rating, no matter how you rate. I want you to have your rating in the chat so I can read it off, or Janet can read it off.
Okay. But we haven't finished the part about
we haven't.
When he found out about the stocks, and he didn't even know. It was it was Troy and Eve that found out those stocks were worth a buttload of money. And that's when they took when they took it, and they were able to take that when he found out about it, to take that money or to invest it or sell it and to buy that land and be able to build that house that looked like the house that his parents had.
Yeah, it looked like the house that his father designed.
Yeah, that his father designed and built it, or exact replica of it, with a real backyard with a beautiful view for his mom. And with that one scene where he was walking through the place, when he walked out so many steps, and then he said, this isn't any different than what we already had. But she turns around and she says, she's looking at the beautiful sky and the woods and stuff off in the distance. She's like, this is not the same thing. And then you can tell she's ready to have another one of these. But she didn't, because she finally was free and had her own home and was able to one day maybe have a grandbaby, now that her son was grown and he had a beautiful girl with him now. So her prospects were wonderful. She was really happy because she could see her wonderful future she was about to have. And he took a little while longer. Remember, he was out back stomping on the ground and stuff like that, counting out the steps, because he was trying to see how far away from his actual shelter he had built, the difference between what he's got now compared to what he had. But they did a good job at making it look the same on the inside.
I was pretty impressed with this movie. I have to say that watching it now versus watching it back in 2000, this movie has aged considerably well. Some of the music isn't that great for me, but I wasn't really a member of the people that was like, oh yeah, give me pop music. I just want contemporary top 40. And that's what a lot of the movie has for the modern era, which I've heard on repeat since I entered San Antonio, because our local radio sucks. Hint, hint, if you are a radio station and you want to take over, just have not top 40 from 1993 to 2006 on repeat with the 40 songs of the day, and you could probably make a good mint in San Antonio.
But they played a lot of older music.
They did
in the first half of the movie, and here and there with Perry Como and some of the other things, because of him, because that's what he enjoyed, because that's what he grew up hearing. Was the stuff his parents listened to. And we're all like that. I mean, there's got to be a few songs that you enjoy that your parents used to listen to. Yes.
Yeah, there
or
are.
No.
Yes, there are, but I try not to obsess about that, because if I start thinking of Elvira,
your mom liked that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom liked that kind of stuff. The thing is that I never did like it. I never did like country very much. I mean, like Alabama. My mom liked Alabama, and there was a couple songs that my mom liked that I liked that was country, but most of it I just didn't like the twangy part of it. I didn't like twangy country. So that was hard on me. But but I liked some of the other stuff, because she liked, I think there was some, like, what was his name that sang the Rhinestone Cowboy guy?
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
Lynn something.
Yes.
I can't remember his name.
The chat will have Rhinestone Cowboy.
But, and also other stuff, like my mom liked Freddie Fender, and I took her to see Bill Cosby 3 times because she liked him. She thought he was so funny. And I took her to see Damon Wayans in Shreveport, Louisiana, because she won tickets and a room at the casino there, and things like that. I did a lot of good stuff like that with my mom, but she was very versatile. That I remember, she loved country. That was her favorite, but she liked Elvis. I mean, she just liked a lot of different music. So I guess I grew up liking lots of different stuff myself because of it. Because I think your parents do influence you to a degree on, they either drive you to music because they say, no, you can't hear that. I don't want to hear that in my house. And then you sneak out and get it because your parents say no, or you like it because they dance around the house to it, just like he got to see with his parents. So his vision in his mind growing up, seeing it, is all he wanted was a wife that was like that with him, like he saw his parents, dancing together, holding hands, cooking together in the kitchen, all those things. And I think that they did a good job at making it look like that's what he wanted. And she wanted it too. She was really surprised. Remember when she got to meet him and she saw, wow, they're for real. She was just really impressed with it because she never thought in her lifetime she'd ever see that. Everyone's divorced. Everybody's miserable.
Here's two people who've been married for decades and they love each other still.
Yeah, because they in a way though, they cheated because they didn't have anyone else to interrupt or to tempt them to stray. They didn't have all the same temptations that other people had. So in a way that they cheated basically.
Okay.
Because they got locked up and didn't get to mingle with anyone else. But I still think it was great. I thought the whole thing was just a really fun movie, and I recommend everybody should get to watch it if you guys want to really do get a blast from the past.
We got some people in here throwing some names out there. Nerdy Ogre talks about
Glenn Campbell. That is right. That is his name. Thank you.
We got the Oak Ridge Boys, Conway Twitty, my grandfather's favorite.
Yeah, my parents liked all those people. My dad liked Patsy Cline. Is she the one that sang I Fall to Pieces?
I think so.
Okay, because he loved that. It was one of my dad's favorite songs.
I think she does I Fall to Pieces. There's a movie that I think we're going to have to watch probably in springtime because it just feels like a springtime movie. And it may be a film that you're familiar with. Have you ever heard of the movie called Black Dog? Okay. It's got one of your favorite actors in it. Yeah, that's
Which
right.
one?
It's got
Which one?
Roadhouse. Patrick Swayze.
Oh, I like Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, I miss
He's a
that
good
guy.
actor.
He was a
I
great
love
actor.
Roadhouse because it has a couple of actors in there that I like.
Well, we're not watching Roadhouse, not yet.
No.
If we watch Roadhouse, we're going to watch it with the riff tracks because I've got the riff tracks for it. So,
But yeah, okay, that sounds like a good movie. I mean, there's so many good movies. There really are.
They're like I showed you the advertisement for the movie Plane last night, which came out last year, and that's a good movie, but it's a bright shining light in a sea of shit because that's 2020 to now. We were just now starting to see better films come out, and that was one of the probably better films that came out last year. My dad absolutely loves that movie. He thinks it's like
when you shared that with me the last night, I was like, I thought it came out years and years ago, because it was too good of a trailer to be a movie that's made now.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was coming out or had just been out because it just didn't seem like a movie that you would see today in Wokeville, So I was surprised. But that would be great if we can start getting some really good stuff. I mean, I'm excited about doing that Wind River still. I thought it was very well made movie too.
That's next week's movie.
It is? I thought there was a different movie than that.
February 19th. A girl, a guy in a movie, Wind River.
It is? Oh, good. It's such a good movie. I'm excited about it.
You wanted to like love stuff for Valentine's Day, so okay, fine, we'll do love stuff.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I mean, it really is. But it's not really real romantic. I mean, it's got love in it, but it's not a romance.
Okay.
But I'm not a real romancy person, you know?
Well, I mean, don't let me start picking movies from, Tubi that we're going to watch, because I'm going to go back to that really bad horror channel, that Six Nations show.
Oh my God. Some of them look really bad.
God, those movies look like a toss up between we have 35 minutes and 6 hours of movie film to fill up, or we're just going to make porn.
That was horror porn. That's what it was for you. That's what it looked like. I'd not seen any of those.
They look like smut, and I can't wait to watch them.
Yes, it was bad. It was some bad movies there.
Thank you, Six Nations, 31 Kings, because I love bad movies. That shit brings me joy. I know that sounds bad, but I love bad films. Hey, Bookbreaker. I gotta ask: is the crafting gamer still in the chat?
Let's see, I don't know. If
crafting gamer's still here, then I need to throw out an invite to him, because we had an interesting day and got a visit not long ago, and somebody grabbed a package. Crafting gamer, if you're here, there's a link for you. Come and take it. All right, so this is kind of a interruption here. If nobody else has seen Blast from the Past, by the way, I'll read the only review I've got, which is from Six Nations, 31 Kings. That's okay. I can do that.
Well, where is it? Oh, up here. I can read it.
Sure.
It says
starred one.
It's the one that says I'm gonna say 75.
Yes.
That one. Okay. It says I'm gonna say 75/80 out of 100. Megatons. Surprisingly good rom-com. Great cast. Sets and costumes were awesome. Soundtrack was decent. Not the usual cookie cutter script of formula. That's good. That's pretty much around what I was about to say. I would definitely give it an 8 out of 10 for sure. Maybe a 9. I mean, even 8.5 probably is what I'm going to do. Simply because I could see the work that all of them went through. They really worked to make this good, to make it realistic. And you could tell it was important to all of them. All the actors had to love their parts for it to be so good. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. They loved it. To them, this was a labor of love, basically. That's how I see it. So I think they did a phenomenal job. It was very well done. There was a couple little things here and there, but overall it was just great. I mean, you could tell it was just the details of it were just over the top. And you just don't normally see that. And if you had seen it before, I recommend that you watch it again. And this time watch it and try to find anything wrong with the authentic quality of it, because you're going to have a hard time finding it. Wow, what is this? Is this your package that came in? Wow, he packed it well.
Okay, I had my microphone off. My bad.
It's all right.
So here we have a bust. And it looks like Evil Lynn.
It is Evil Lynn.
Yes, it is.
Wow, that's nice.
he sent one that he did himself as well.
Very, very nice.
Good Lord, kid. You did some excellent work on her.
Oh my goodness, she's beautiful.
There's a reason why Skeletor keeps her around. Oh, yeah. Look at that back. Oh, yeah.
Very good job. Oh,
I believe you've got a package en route as well, Janet.
yeah. I'll have to go tomorrow and get it. I'll call first thing and see whether it's there.
A barrel golem. I'll put this on the table to terrify my players for Saturday.
Very nice.
I'm digging this, dude. You did really
Wow,
well.
that is nice, isn't it?
Yeah. He's getting to be an accomplished painter. He's really getting good.
Oh, it makes me feel so bad because I'm not going to be able to. I just know I'm not going to even be able to even make it look half that good, even a third. Wow.
Another bullet. I'll give this to the wife. Maybe she can get rid of that shampoo bottle now. Wait, did I say that out? I'm sorry. I love you, baby. It has a little screw top. You can actually put dice in here. We found that you can put dice in these. These are awesome.
Wow, that's nice. Is that really a used bullet?
No, it's not a used bullet. It's crafted. He's printed this off. This is a different feel, different texture, but it works very well. Then, okay, there was a leg that fell off the barrel golem, so I could put this back. Yeah, that's not gonna be hard. One leg broke off in shipping, no big deal. Okay.
Oh, is that so you can make that barrel thing too?
Yes.
Very nice. Wow, that's a lot of pieces.
It is. I am looking forward to this. Oh, dear Lord in heaven. This is going to be a lot of fun.
That was so sweet of him.
He didn't have to do this.
I know. That's awesome. And the fact that he did it for you, he already painted himself, so now you really got to work hard to make it look as good as that.
That's what I like about him, because I don't see painting, when you paint an army and I paint an army, I don't see it like we're competing against each other. Because a lot of times people have different skill levels, and so like just in the community, you understand that you might be a better painter than somebody else, but as long as they keep at it, that's what matters. And it's such a different type of community than like saying we're going to go throw darts and talk shit at each other, the loser. No.
What's really cool is that you get better at it over time. So no matter how long you've been doing it, you're going to get better and better and better.
Little stand for the barrel golem.
Yeah, those are nice. Oh, hope he's getting to watch.
I hope he's in. If he's not, timestamp it.
At least it's recorded.
Yes. And by the way, I had a blast with you guys on Saturday.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a good game.
I've been working on my game, and I'm not uploading a lot of stuff to the design document just yet because I want to have things quote unquote perfect. But I think I'm at the point where I'm going to be uploading a bunch of stuff here over the next 3 weeks. I love how he has.
Look at the detail on that. Even that little tiny lid.
Mm-hmm.
The detail on it is really, really good. That's what I said when I was taking my stuff apart for the battle cruiser, the Klingon battle cruiser, and I bought myself some of those files. They're like triangle shapes, so you could file down all those little, little knobby pieces and stuff that come apart. So I'm hoping that I can just make it look half as good as the picture on the box.
I got a bunch more
pieces. Yeah, the littler pieces.
This is going to be awesome.
The detail's going to be really good.
Crafting Gamer, I appreciate you, sir. You don't have to do this for me. You really don't. But man, I'll be up for the challenge. Yes, sir. Glad to be up for the challenge of painting whatever you throw at me.
That was nice.
If you guys want to see me start work on these, tomorrow night on Nick Weiser's channel, we're reviewing a movie called White Men Can't Jump with, I believe, Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Okay, dear Bruce, this time I sent 2 giant size crab barrels.
Mhm.
Barrels, and I sent some giant, human sized barrels, cans. One for you to paint. Last but not least, I sent another bullet for the second guy who hates chat. I would have sent him one the first time, but I didn't know he hated the chat too. Okay. Well, that'll be for Chris, the secondary bullet here. I appreciate this. Crafting Gamer, you don't have to do this, but man, I'm more than happy to pass these along, and looking forward to getting started on these items over here. I know some of you guys in the chat aren't really here for the miniature talk, but
it's sweet. A fan sent you something.
Yeah. My manly
Made you something.
I really dig this. I don't know if I can top that. I'll do my best. I promise you I will do my best.
But now you need to have her over there prominently displayed next to your Skeletor.
I will.
Yeah. So the next time we see her online with Skeletor, they'll be out there together, side by side.
I dig. I'm sorry. Evelyn's just a fucking badass bitch. She's super, like, gorgeous. Ever since I was a little kid, like, Evelyn and Tila were like the two she was the forbidden fruit. Tila was the one you want to take home to Dad. Dad, I've got a red-haired girl. She's not balls crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tila didn't exist. She's a cartoon, Bruce. Okay. So next week, we're watching a film that you've picked called Wind River with Jeremy Renner. Who else is in that? You know?
I can't remember what her name is. The actress.
Okay.
Plays the FBI agent. Cool. But it's got John Bernthal in it. You know, from The Walking Dead.
John Bernthal is not one of my favorite actors, but
he's not in it a lot, but he's one of the characters in it.
I like his acting. Have you seen Fury?
Wind River. Someone asked what the movie is. It's called Wind River.
Yeah, we're gonna watch Wind River next week in the Discord, Nerdy Ogre.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen the movie called Fury?
Fury?
Yep.
Is it with tanks?
Yep.
Is it with tanks and Brad Pitt?
Yep.
Yes, I've seen it.
Okay. So John Bernthal is in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays a very not nice army prick.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a bully.
Good at it.
He's really convincing as a bully in this movie.
Yeah, and that shows that he's got good acting chops, because any person, it's harder to play a character that you hate than it is to play someone you love.
Well, I enjoyed his character rendition in that movie, but the first time I watched it, I hated it because I saw too much of my own negative traits in him whenever I was watching that.
Yeah.
And I thought, man, this is like staring into a mirror, because like whenever I get to be a bully, like it's not good. Like when people are bullies, it's just not a pleasant thing to be around. But his character is so good at not being polite. And I just, after you watch that movie a couple times, that movie stands up to repeated viewings very well.
He said, he said Elizabeth Olsen is the actress.
Okay, so she's from the Marvel MCU, and she plays, I think she plays the magic bitch. I can't think of her name right now.
I can't either. I can't I can't place her, but she's really, really good in this movie. I was very impressed with both the lead actors in this.
All right, well,
Has anybody in the chat seen that movie before? Oh, she played the Scarlet Witch.
Yep, she's Scarlet
Oh,
Witch.
okay. In that was in
All the Marvel films.
okay, well, I thought
Ever
she was
since
in
Winter Soldier. Or Winter Soldier. That was her first appearance.
Mhm.
But she's really good. She's an excellent actress. She just
she did get in there. But this is a totally not superhero character.
Okay. And that's fine. I don't need her to be a superhero. I just want her to be
I mean, it's just this is more of a lifelike reality person, a woman that's in the FBI sent to a job because they think it's nothing. You know what I mean? It ends up being huge. You know what I mean? So it's really, really good. It's a good movie. I don't want to give it away. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, I'm excited. I finally got a movie that you haven't seen. But you like the other one I picked.
I've liked a lot of them.
Romantic comedy, which was Overboard because you said you hadn't seen that.
No, I hadn't seen that. And
I know. It was really good.
Okay. Overboard cheated because it has Kurt Russell.
I know, but it was good.
Yes.
It's a very well-made movie. And see, when you have characters that like the movie they're wanting to be in, it really does help with the movie. Just like that movie I wanted us to watch with Drew Barrymore. No, Drew, what's her name? Damn it. Demi Moore.
Okay.
And she played the agent, the police officer. And it was with what was his name? Damn it. I keep getting them mixed up. The guy from Waterworld.
Kevin Costner?
Yeah, Kevin Costner, remember? And he played the serial killer.
Is it with William Hurt?
Yes.
Okay. I know what movie you're talking about. I just can't think
that
of it.
movie. I can't remember that right now because I wasn't planning on talking about it or anything. But that was a very well done movie, too. It had lots of twists and turns in the plot. And it was really good considering Kevin Costner read the script and wanted to portray the character. And so did the other guy that was in it to get to play the same character, but in two different dimensions, basically. And I thought it was really good. Very well made.
I very much like that movie. That was an actual very good film.
Mm-hmm. And Demi Moore did a really good job, too, at her character. So when you have actors that read a script and really like it and want to see it be able to be on the big screen, to me, Mr. Brooks, it adds depth to the character because they love it. You know, they want it to be successful and they put a little extra effort into it instead of someone who just gets the check and they're like, you know, and that's how I felt about that movie with Uma Thurman. The way she portrayed her character was like, she just didn't seem like she was all into it. You know what I mean? And to me, that hurt her character.
No, as much as I like Uma Thurman, she did very little in Paycheck.
She just didn't add depth. She didn't have a lot of depth to her character because she just didn't seem like she was really, you know what I mean? Sometimes you can see it and other times, even like the Ice Pirates, okay? Ice Pirates was a comedy, but most of the actors that were in it, they seemed like they loved their part. You know, they wanted
that movie to succeed.
Yeah, you can see it. You can see it. It comes across in the actor through the character when they want it to be successful. Even the movie Galaxy Quest, you have an actor in one of the characters that did theater and all kinds of things, but he loved his character and it was so lovable. You know, they all did such a good job because it was they made the movie fun. They made you love watching it and laugh along with them because they liked what they were doing. And I think it comes across in almost every movie that you watch. because you can tell, even if the script isn't very good, or they don't have a lot of money, or whatever other things that hurt the film, the acting isn't it. Because if they love what they're doing and they love the characters they're portraying, it comes across in it. And I definitely can feel that on a lot of these movies that we've been able to do. We've been really lucky. I think we've had some really good movies. Even some of the ones that were B-rate have been fun. And I love that Gamers Darkness Rising. I really love the effort they made to make that movie. Made it worth watching it. You know what I mean? Because I love movies. I love that stuff.
I think you really took into the escapism, and you really enjoy the hobby because you've been introduced to it, and so you kind of see a different aspect of it. In 5 years, I'll ask you again if you want to watch it again, because that's a movie,
and I will.
It stands up to repeated watching.
It does. And the thing is, the little things, like I said, like about the Purple Ninja's costume, the little things like that is what I'm talking about. That shows love. That shows love for wanting to see it made, see it come to life, as an actor and as a director or whatever your part is in a movie. You work together to make it come to life for other people to watch it and get enjoyment from it. And when you love something like that, I think it comes across in the scenes, in everything you do with the movie. So to me, that's the kind of things that I look forward to, and why I enjoy movies even more, especially if you feel the excitement from the actors themselves, it comes across to the people viewing it. I mean, at least that's how I feel like it. It does.
I don't disagree, because there's a lot of times you watch a film and you can tell when the actors are into it, and when they're just like, I do here, I go here, I make these knobs, I press these buttons, and then after that I get a paycheck. Give me my fucking paycheck. And that's a lot of actors that are out there. A lot of them are in movies that I will recommend, because as much as those actors suck, the movies are actually pretty fun to watch. One of my favorite movies of all time is a film that everybody was on board. Everybody saw the vision that John Carpenter had for Big Trouble in Little China. But whenever it was time to sell that to the theater didn't know what the fuck to do with it. They were just completely lost and bamboozled. They didn't have an idea. What are you trying to do here? This is Kurt Russell. You're going to fuck him up with this movie. And Kurt Russell's not that way. He saw the design potential behind Big Trouble in Little China, and shame on the Universal people for not seeing that as well, and only throwing $3 million into the adverts for it. I mean, that movie was not going to top Aliens that year. Aliens was the summer film of 1988, and that's the first big summer blockbuster that I can remember. Because as much as I love Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, those came out usually in the month of April or May. I want to say May. But we were still in school. And for my friends and I to consider a movie a summer film, I'm not going to school right now. It's summertime. It's after June. And that was one of the criteria. So I believe Aliens came out in June, or it came to my area in July. When we finally got a chance to see Aliens, it's July, and we're getting ready to watch this amazing film. And we didn't see it in the theaters. This was like a year or two late. Wait, what was it? It was 1987 when I finally saw it, because my uncle was alive. And so we got a chance to see that with him on Betamax. Wow.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we're dating this discussion here, but it was 87, and watching one of the best movies ever made. And then about 3 months later, we watched Big Trouble in Little China, and I watched that movie with my friend Eric in his basement, where he still lives to this day. And he introduced me to this film, and I will never forget the first 3 times. We watched that movie back to back to back, and I couldn't catch my breath. I couldn't watch this film and seem to catch my breath. Aliens was amazing. It was spine tingling suspense, and action. But yet we get this movie called Big Trouble in Little China, and that movie was just nonstop action. All right, we have our friend from the Great White North. Hello, sir. How are you today?
Yay, there he is.
Sorry I didn't get your message sooner. I was actually really focused working on my book.
Well, the good thing is it's recorded, so now you can watch it.
Dude.
Yeah. Well, I was
Okay.
listening to you guys, but I didn't see the pack. I didn't see the message.
This is crazy fucking great. This is
Thank you.
some amazing detail.
Very good. Very
And
nice.
I like, this is my queen. I mean, did you first question, did you varnish her or no?
Yes, this time I
You
did.
Okay. I don't know if you did or not. And if you did not, I was gonna do that, but I had to ask you first. This is the one you sent that you painted, and you sent me one to paint up as well, which I do appreciate that. Dude.
It's amazing the difference.
She was the proof I needed that I need to replace the bottom screen of my 3D printer. I was afraid that might happen because I accidentally damaged it, not because I didn't think about it, and did a pretty rookie mistake. Thankfully,
Okay.
the replacement screen is not expensive. It's like less than $50, a little more than that with shipping. But given the fact that it's not just the screen, I'm going to be getting the whole vat. It's not a bad price.
This leg right here, when I opened up the box, this leg was off, and so I just super glued it. And zap.
Yeah,
And
I was afraid.
Don't worry about it. It works.
Yeah, it's awesome. You did a great job. The detail is amazing.
Thank you.
This is balls crazy, dude. I can't wait to start. Actually, I didn't wait to start. I started getting the interior on this painted up, and then I'm getting the gearings on this done. And then
Nice.
once these are all, I'll put this together and start working on the rest of it. But I saw that the way that you had that assembled, and I'm like, I have to do some work on this, because if I don't, I'll never be able to get those painted. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You don't have to do this seriously, but man, I appreciate the shit out of this.
One of my favorite joys is sending people things.
Kill a can?
Yeah, did you not read the message? It said for insane artificers, either dwarf or either dwarf. Well, it probably would have worked for dwarf too, but goblin or gnome.
Orc.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, it came off in my head as orc. I read it as orc.
Yeah.
But still, that's so fucking cool. Look at those guys. I should put these
And
on.
you printed these out? You printed these out on your machine?
Yep.
Wow, it's nice. You got a nice machine. Did a good job on it. And then he showed us the little jar with all the pieces in it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, the barrels that Bruce was showing off his size for a giant in his miniature sizes.
Mm-hmm.
So I printed him some that, if I did my calculations right, should be good for 28 millimeter scale, which is his more common size.
And I'm thinking about having that giant come by your keep more and more, just so you can see your miniatures in action in game.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't
Yeah,
mind.
that's what's going to be fun.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's getting to see them come to life like we were talking about with movies. And same thing in a game.
So, Crafty, and I got to ask you, did you ever see the movie called Blast from the Past?
Once.
What'd you think
Is
about
a good movie, but it's one of those movies I'd probably only watch once because it was hard to keep my attention, because it's not overall my favorite type of movie.
Yes, I get that.
Hmm.
Okay.
But good enough for at least one watch through. So
Yeah, and that's a fair assessment for it. Janet, what's your
Mhm.
rating on this movie?
Oh, when we talked about it earlier, I said it would probably be between an 8.5 and a 9 out of 10 for me. I really, really liked it. I thought it was very good, and that's high for me for a movie that's, basically a comedy, a romantic comedy, which is funny because we did 2 in a row. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
We haven't done that in a long, long time, let alone have 2 in a row.
I've
But
noticed.
they were both really good. I was really shocked because I don't normally like Brandon Fraser. I just don't watch many of his movies. I think I watched The Mummy and that was it. I haven't really seen anything else by him.
Oh, you got to watch Looney Tune Back in Action. He makes a couple of jokes at himself.
I have not seen that one. I mean, it's just something about him. I just like, he's okay. But he was really good in this movie. I mean, he definitely shows how good of an actor he is. He seemed like a real person that was dealing and absorbing information like he'd never seen it before. And that I know cannot be easy. And Alicia did great job at bouncing off of his direction, basically, to make the facial expressions and stuff too, to be in awe of a guy and not know whether he's playing her or if he was for real, on not knowing, like when he said, I watched the whole movie or this whole show in color, like, and the look on her face was like, it just seemed very real. She was very good at it. Everyone in this movie, the 5 main actors that you saw in the movie, to me were really well chosen for their parts. I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
And the detail that the director made sure was in the scenes with the props and the costumes. I mean, everything was just over the top for me. I thought was just phenomenal how well they did. So
one of my favorite scenes, if not my favorite, was the when the dad first emerges from the ground and you have the insane hobo. Are you God? Or I can't remember exactly what he said. It's been years since I've seen it.
He said he was the father.
Stuck with. Oh yes, that's what it was.
I'm just the father.
I'm just the father.
Yeah. So, and then the mother and the son, they got to see them all. I just thought it was great. I just thought the detail of that kind of thing is what made it really good, to portray people that have been underground for 30 years. And I did a good job at doing that, because it seemed like the way people reacted to it, it seemed real. Like maybe it seemed like that's what real people would react like if they heard someone talking that way or seeing them act that way. They would be that way. It just seemed very real to me. I just like that.
It's actually jogging my memory about some of the movie. I think the director who did this would make a great Fallout movie. You know, Fallout?
From the game?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. As far as I can tell, I don't know. I'd have to go through his list of his other movies to see what I thought about some of them. But I just thought the attention to detail was just phenomenal.
He's for this one of those directors. If he would have done a Fallout film, the attention to detail on the props and setting and the camera work would have been off the charts. Sadly, Hugh Wilson died back in 2018, and the world is sadder for it. But yeah.
Oh, the director's dead?
The director died.
Oh, but remember when we watched Overboard, last week, I was just impressed. The director, it was the drummer in the band. They were out dancing and having a great old time, and that was the director. Was playing the drums in that band. He was flipping the sticks, and he's looked like he was having a great old time. So that was good.
This is something I've always said. Like, I know people who would disagree with me, but if the director could give himself a halfway decent cameo, like he can act and he can play that little part, he actually should have the right to give himself a cameo if he wants.
Yeah, why not? What's it going to hurt? It's not hurting anybody.
No.
And if he doesn't you see, the one thing, remember, I've griped about this many times. The one thing that really irritates me is when you're on set or whatever, everybody's doing everything, and then all of a sudden here comes some of the producers or somebody, and they go, "This is my daughter," or "This is my niece. I want them to be in this movie." And then the director's like, "Okay, get them a uniform, or or whatever it is, whatever the scene is, and try to fit them in there somewhere."
I think Hugh worked with Alfred Hitchcock, is what he's trying to say.
So
his mentorship was done by a master.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you could definitely tell. I didn't even think about that, about who he's worked with before. But, I've said that a few times about other people working with certain directors, and you could tell, I wonder if they worked in other movies together, because the way certain things were done, it's like I'd seen it before in something else, a few times with things like that. So it really does. Somebody who does a really good job stands out, especially when you see another movie and you go, golly, the detail to that was so good. It seems familiar. And then if you look, and then you find out that maybe they were the same director or the same person who did the props or the costumes, or whatever, whatever different thing it was. Just like when we watched the movie with Gina Davis that flopped.
Oh, which one? The Long Kiss Goodnight?
Cutthroat Island. Cutthroat Island. Okay. How I told you that I was impressed with the costumes of so many people in the city. Remember, in the city, on the street and stuff, that with the budget, with no money, how they were able to come up with so many great costumes for so many people. And basically what they were doing was scrounging around behind, in every box and closet they could find to get as many costumes as they could that looked like they could fit in this movie. And they did a great job. And sometimes being thrifty really does pay off for those type of things. And that's what I'm impressed when I see that type of stuff, because that takes a lot of thought, to put in there. That's really cool how they can move.
I love.
Well, they aren't supposed to.
Because it's a tank, right?
Yeah, this is a solid model. It's actually, I set it up with magnets so it can actually twist.
Cool.
In fact, I've made it so the top no longer is permanent. So the top isn't permanent either. I can take that off with magnets.
That's smart.
As much as I like this movie, this is a rom-com, and there's some parts of it that just kind of like we're supposed to go with it, but it could have been a little better, or could have had some tightness on script. No matter, I'm going to give it a 7.75 because this is really a good rom-com, and you don't see those that often. A lot of times they're formulaic. They follow a shitty script. They have bad acting. There's not a lot of attention to detail. This movie has got enough detail in it to where I think a comic book fan would look at it and be like, they did everything right. And this movie has everything from the good props and script. It's got a very nice little, it makes fun of the 90s pretty well, I think. And it gives us a lot of understanding of like how somebody would come out of a time capsule and look at yesteryear being 1998, 1999. They do a good job of showing you how kind of redundant and how bad the world slid down. But at the same time, you have this wonderful cast in the script, which goes on to kind of reward those that watch it all the way through, where you get to see the son provide for the parents. And I love that. I love this.
With the help of his new young woman, its potential wife. That's another reason why I thought it was so adorable. It was that's what I'm talking about. Little things when it comes to being wholesome. and family oriented. That's another reason why I think I like this movie so much, because it points everything back in the past. You know, what we used to have compared to what we have today. Like the whole thing, they made the thing about her saying nobody's married, nobody says nobody's happily married anymore. You know, everybody cheats, everybody's divorced, you know, and that was her point of view of what she had in her life. And she's never had a good relationship because all the guys are only want one thing, you know, they want to bang you hard and then put you back on the shelf, you know, because they're done for now. And then when they get tired or they don't have something else to fill in the void, they go looking for you again, you know, that type of stuff. So, wow, that's a nice set of brushes.
We're gonna look at those real quick.
Admittedly, they're a cheap set, but they're overall more expensive than the ones I usually get. So this gives me a chance to test out some of the more expensive types, see if I like them. Plus, I wanted the dry brushes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't blame you.
That's a nice set.
That's really nice. You did good, man. You did really good. With that being stated, appreciate you coming on at the very end, just kind of impromptu, but I wanted you to at least see my happiness and understand you didn't have to do this, but man, I'm going to make you proud on these. That's my goal.
Honestly, dude, one of my greatest joys in life is to give people things.
Well, I'll do my best for you on that. And this was a lot of fun. I enjoyed opening up this. I hate being a little kid and like, oh my God, presents. But like, if you can't do the things you enjoy, you probably need to figure out what's going on. And giving me a project to play with, okay, that's awesome, because I'm almost done with these hobgoblin-esque types that I'll be putting out for the other game. But this is going to be a lot of fun to put together. I can tell you that.
Yeah. I can't wait till you pull out the mechs I gave you and throw them on the table. Like everyone's going like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's really good, the attention to detail and stuff. See, that's what I'm saying. It makes a big difference on how impressive it ends up being.
We will.
You actually cared enough to make it stand out.
Appreciate these, and appreciate you stepping in and just letting me say thank you in front of everybody as well.
Not a problem.
Also, Saturday, man, I really appreciate you playing Mongoose and staying in the game. I hope I don't bore you as a GM.
No, well, what helped was doing miniatures. Part of my issue I discovered is my ADHD makes it very hard to focus. But when I'm painting, for some reason, I can focus on the game and being on camera much easier than I can if I'm not painting anything.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Badass. Okay. Well, this wraps up this evening, and I appreciate each and every one of you in the chat that showed up tonight. I also want to give thanks to my co-host Janet and to our guest host, Mr. The Crafting Gamer. Be sure to check out the Crafting Gamer, and let me pull up his YouTube site. Next week we will be pulling the movie
Wind River.
If you like that, we will be watching it in the Discord, and that'll be Sunday night. If you like that sort of thing, I hope you do, because we'll do that Sunday. We'll watch it as a group, and then on the following night, Monday, we discuss it here.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. If you want to watch it, hang out with us and watch a movie, just join us Sunday night in Bruce's Discord. It's a good movie. I think you'll really like it. It's got action in it. It's got a little bit of romance. It's got intrigue and beautiful scenery because it's out in the middle of the mountains. It's in the mountains, in woods. I don't know where it's filmed at, but it's supposed to be an Indian reservation. So It's just really good. I don't want to give away too much if you haven't seen it yet, because I'm excited about it.
All right, Papa Cotton, Amazon Women is coming up on April 15th.
Yeah.
On the day when we get pissed off at the government. Amazon Moon will be our
Yeah, tax day.
yeah.
Right.
But we'll do that then. And
Mhm.
April 1st, we're watching used cars. So just to let you know what's ahead. And thank you one and all for being here tonight. Janet, you want to walk us out?
Thank you guys, and really appreciate you, because without you, it'd just be us by ourselves. So it's fun when you guys stop in and show us your support. We appreciate it.
Thank you one and all for being here. Thank you, Crafting Gamer. My name is
Always
Bruce.
fun.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Good night.